So I just did my workout. Feeling a lot better after that. The anxiety definitely fades after a 2 hour workout, which I did. But you know what? It's summer, the days are long, we have energy. I got 9 hours of sleep last night, not to brag. I have been sleeping like a baby. Is that true? I take this melatonin gummy, fall asleep about an hour and a half after. I do wake up through the night. Very vivid dreams right now. Melatonin gives me insane dreams. It always has, always will. I guess it's like the deal with the devil that you make to have melatonin. Um, that you have to truly be going psycho in your dreams. I have like 2 billion dreams a night. And then I wake up in the morning and I'm still in a little bit of a fog, but dang, that rest is deep. I've been feeling fully rested, fully recharged from my trip to New York, which is good because I was a little bit drained for that. And we're getting back into some fun workouts. I'm upstairs at the gym, as you know, so forgive the ASMR or enjoy the ASMR. Um, do we care what I did? It's like on my mind since I just did it. I'm also getting back into painting. I have my studio kind of set up, which is fun. And I've just been enjoying the hot weather. I'm a hot weather girl. I was born in July, early mid July. The lore of my birth is that it was 115 degrees when I was born, the day I was born. So hot and humid. And I still love it to this day. What is that? I love it, and I still love it to this day. Who said that? You know which one I've been loving to this day is when Katy Perry said, what did she say? It was like, you just have to say that you're fine, and you just have to say that you're fine, and nobody. That one. That's some good shit. And she knew what she was doing, and honestly, I believe she was going through something because I really am inspired by her Witness. When she released her Witness album, Katy Perry did this like 24/7 live stream of her going through her day when she had her short blonde hair and she looked like Cynthia, the doll from the Rugrats. No shade to Katy Perry, I guess. I mean, we could say she looked a little crazy. I think she would agree. That's fun. She's a beautiful woman, but she had this choppy, short blonde hair. She was going through her day, and it was divine. I would love to maybe film a 24-hour cycle. She was just sitting there sipping coffee, and there's something so, I love something so kooky and weird about a vulnerable pop star like that, like someone who's very famous, like just doing something that I do. I want more footage of it. I would like to see. Everyone should be forced to do that at this point because that's divine. Um, I am getting a little scared of AI. Just a little. I. What am I? Okay. Wish I had cuter underwear on. AI is the horrors of hell. I don't know what to do as an artist and as a human on this earth. Um, it's not going well. I heard that AI could, create movies one day, write TV shows one day. And I mean, honestly, isn't Netflix kind of already doing that because they're algorithmic? Like the way they make content is algorithmic. At least it informs what content gets produced and what content sticks around. I think they're known at this point for canceling a show that people love just because algorithmically it's not making sense. It's not like cost to produce television show versus viewers versus tweets versus brand deals in show versus payment for actors. There's this algorithm that they now have that is essentially AI that's saying what's going to get made and what's not. I'm sure it could truly predict pretty well what's going to work, and so we're already here. What am I saying? And we've been here for a while. But it is scary to lose the human touch. But at the same time, now that I'm saying it, it's like maybe it's nice because we'll have internet will finally be fake. Like it started. I remember the commercials, not because I was like an adult in the 90s, but because I've seen them since, and I find them really adorable and sweet, like kind of explaining what the internet is and what you can do on it. I remember I saw this commercial. So I do this thing where where I'll watch like retro commercials, like they have these compilations of them on YouTube. Really fun, really recommend it. It just gives you a glimpse into another life. What did I do with my... I am growing out my hair. I am gonna maybe highlights. We'll talk about that, but let me finish talking about the internet. Blah blah blah. It was just very cute. It was like you can send money through the internet. Use this portal. Use this CD plugin. Anyways, at that time, I feel like it was just silly and toolish. Like it's a tool. Then we anthropomorphized it. Then we allowed photos to be uploaded instantly, and things got a little dicey with what's real, what's not, what's Photoshop. That was kind of the big thing, was what's Photoshop and what's not. Like, this is Photoshopped. That was it was a big conversation. Anyways, now that we're entering this AI era, maybe finally we can get back some of that complete distrust in it, and it can just go back to being a tool. That could be nice. But Apple did just announce their headphones, iPhones, goggles, that's what they're called. AR, VR headset where you like look through it. To me, it's not doing anything. It's not giving anything new. What are we gaining from the goggle view? I get that like you can kind of see it spatially in your space, but is there a big demand for that? Is there a big need to see it spatially when it's just information? Like information, I see it spatially on my phone. I look down, my phone's over here, my phone's over there. It's already kind of like like a spatially interactive like I'm already interacting with the digital world in space. So why would I need to change the lens so that it's like non-physical? Does that make sense? Like all that's different is like, yeah, I can still see Instagram over here, but it's not on a phone, it's on through a goggle. It's like optically it looks like it's there. But why does Instagram need to be over there? Like why? You know what I mean? Like what's the flex about Instagram being able to kind of be in your bottom left, bottom right corner when you can hold your phone in the bottom right corner of your vision, of your eyeball? It's acting like it's inventing eyeballs, and we already have eyeballs and we already have space. It's only weaving in there. It's not existing or changing anything of the experience of the internet. In my opinion. That's my opinion. But don't you think like film, movie, TV content, if we want to, drag it in here, because it is what we look at a lot of the time, doesn't that stuff benefit from a border? Doesn't it benefit from a frame? Doesn't a movie benefit from the edge of a screen, like containing, because you think of cinematographers, you think of people who design and set up shots, and I love studying, the colors and the framing of a shot. Where does the framing go if we lose the frame? Like visually, if the frame is life, aren't we just back to life? So maybe it'll swing us all the way back around, and life will come back again. And I guess we'll just have to wear goggles to experience it. I'm not gonna be one of those people that's like, the people. But it is weird. I think it's okay to say that it's weird. I remember the separation of the internet, like the separation of it from me was what made it fun and special growing up. I would come home from school and be excited to get on the computer because the computer had some websites that I wanted to go to. And kind of all that's happened is like we're minimizing the complexity of getting to that information. Being presented with that information is like now versus like having to go and find it. But the hunt, the search, the anticipation, neurologically that is the fun of it, because our minds get dopamine from anticipating something happening, if I remember right, not something actually happening. It's the It's the, oh, I'm excited because this is about to happen. And that delayed gratification actually produces, like, we're hardwired for delayed gratification. So if we wear the goggles and everything is taken away and you can watch pornography in 360 degrees, dark, very dark, we can get off the internet now because I do want to talk about some other stuff. I want to talk about my diet because it's bad. And I don't mean that in a way. I'm speaking for myself, and we're not talking about diet culture. We can go there. It's damaging, it's evil, it's horrid, and I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying I'm not loving the way the food I'm eating is making me feel, and that's okay. Now that we got that out of the way, it's been weird. I've been eating like a little rabbit, like little pockets of food. I'm not really in a meal mode right now. Preparing a meal, sitting down to a meal is very, very foreign to me right now. And I don't know if I'm going to get it back, and I don't know if I need to get it back, because I've never been like a create a big pot of mashed potatoes that everybody eats kind of person. That's been interesting. Sorry, someone is slamming the weight downstairs, and it's kind of distracting me. It's normally not too busy, but sometimes you get somebody who comes in and really wants to throw that weight around. Other than that, I am thinking about getting highlights in my hair. Yes, I am. Just some blonde highlights to start. I also maybe want to dye it the color of a tennis ball, like lime green. And I think that would be pretty, and let me know what you think. Wow. Sometimes you just ride something like talking about the internet, and then you get off that ride and you just kind of have a moment of rest, moment of reset. What a life. Just thinking that we're here and considering VR technology, what does that mean for anything and everything? Like, is everything going to change, or is nothing going to change? And let me know which one. And I guess it doesn't really matter if everything changes or not. That's kind of life. But isn't it wild to live through a time where there were not digital spaces and then there are? That's really... Ooh, I just kind of got a little weird feeling on that one, because that's a big divide in how the world, how my younger friends and how my older colleagues experience the world, and I wonder if it's ever going back. I wonder if people will just shun it altogether, or if now for the rest of human history do we just have a digital space and more of it. We are in this flux point in history where from nothing to something, and we don't know where it goes or where it ends or what's good or what's bad. Not only health-wise, but also just like experientially as a human, what's good, what's bad. Because if you can experience everything, what does it really mean to have a unique experience? And is your experience just to record it, get it put down so that someone else can see it just through a Google Glass or an Apple Glass, Apple thing now? Or do we read books? I do love a book. I love the frame around a book too. There's something about it having a beginning, a middle, and an end that is so helpful for the brain. And there is no beginning, middle, and end on social media. There is no beginning, middle, and end on... That's why I always feel really weird when somebody, not to go dark, but when somebody famous passes and you can still access their social media and see videos of them, and you see that people are commenting on their page like, rest in peace, or we miss you. That's a really strange new space, like a space of death, like we all enter into, pay our respects and leave, but it still exists. That's strange, like that we will all leave behind a footprint, a digital footprint, a digital footprint. Even that term, digital footprint, is so apocalyptic. Freaking me out. But blah, 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 blah. We get it. I'm not saying anything new on that. What I do want to talk about is the importance of keeping your space clean. It's very hard for me. I don't know why. It's a lifelong thing, and I truly do not, like, I'm not aware of trash as to the same permanence that somebody else is. Like, I can eat something, set the wrapper down, set the bowl down, and I'm not really aware that it's there anymore. It is gone to me in an interesting way. And yeah, I definitely, it's not that I'm like living in filth, but I do always have to kind of become aware of the space again and be like, what's out of place, what's not, where are we? Does anyone else have that? Um, Sorry, do you hear that? A sad country song just started playing and completely changed the vibe in my heart. I feel like a traveler on a trail. Kind of sounds like a praise and worship song too, which is kind of blending my memories. It's making me very sleepy. There is something about country music that allows you to just chill like no other genre. Um, it is the chillest genre, that I will give it. There's like nothing that's made for just sitting on the porch vibes like that. Well, some 90s R&B really does the trick too. Like slow jams kind of scratch that same itch where it's like rest and enjoy. I'm definitely partial to my R&B, but I get why people might be interested in the country. I think I wore this outfit the last time I recorded, which is a few days ago. I just keep the clothes down here to work out in. And they get washed, don't you worry. My family's like country to the bone, to the blood. American, country, like farming and cowboy and the whole thing. So it's definitely a part of how I experience the world, but I've always felt separate from it too. I think being queer in some way and just wanting to be an artist, loving the digital spaces like we were talking about. I always felt like I had a foot in different spaces. And yes, I can throw on a hat, I can throw on a barbecue. I don't really eat meat, but I can barbecue a cauliflower with the best of them over a fire. Actually, fire roasted cauliflower might have to be the business and be patented by me right now. So don't take it. I'm just picturing like cauliflower stuck on a stick, like much how a marshmallow would be stuck on a stick to make a s'more, and you slowly turn it over the fire. There's just been a lot of fires like that, a lot of campfires, a lot of wide open spaces in my experience of life, and I love it. I definitely appreciate it. You know, like I said, I'll always feel a little bit like I'm not fully allowed in the club just because of all the millions of experiences that we can have now. I also have lived in New York City a couple times, and I'm sure we'll live there again. So I love it all. I love just the contrast of life. I do worry about social media. I worry about it taking away that contrast of life because all of my best thoughts and my best art and my best experiences have kind of come through contrast. Like different people thinking different things coming together in an interesting space and having like a random experience in that way, like a contrasting experience. I love digital space. It's fun, but there's a lot of like mindedness, there's a lot of community building, which is great. But if you log on every day and you're just kind of presented with the same community, I don't know, I kind of feel like you have to be presented with difference in your life to live a life. Like, are we being presented with too much sameness right now? I don't know why I'm like tickling the tree. It's kind of like just a little ASMR for you, I guess. Here. Yeah, I feel like that's an interesting thought to land on. The contrast of city and country life, the contrast of gay and straight life, the contrast of any different experience that you can have is valuable. And there is something weird about just all being digital online, like kind of the great equalizer. And yes, you can showcase your difference or your talent, but those algorithms really prioritize one thing, which is engagement. The the they're gauging watch time, and they're gauging kind of sensationalizing, obviously, kind of the more sensational something is, the faster it gets to the point. That goes up there. So the slower parts of contrast, the quiet spaces, the longer spaces, they're missing. But I love podcasts for that reason. And I don't know. I didn't know if I was gonna love doing a solo podcast because, or whatever you want to call this, just video diary, vlog. Um, but there is something about just being presented with my own voice and my own thoughts. I would like to hear your thoughts, but not always listening to a conversation, but taking in something like you would take in a book or a movie or something with a frame to bring it all the way back. I feel like listening to one person listening for a long time sets a frame and lets you kind of be in that space for a hot sec. So hopefully you like it. I like it when that happens. I like when I can really sit with somebody and feel like I'm sitting around the campfire of life. I am just bringing everything full circle. Grilling our marshmallows, grilling our cauliflower, grilling our lemons. I've never been a grilled lemon girl. I don't get it. A lemon is supposed to be the freshest part of the dish, the freshest experience possible. The whole point of a lemon is that you're like slicing that thing open and squeezing the life and that acidity and that brightness and that sugar right onto the thing to kind of give contrast. Because you're not squeezing a lemon onto a lemon, bitch. You're squeezing a lemon onto something that is not lemon-like in its existence. It might be fatty, it might be starchy, it might be meaty, if you're someone who's not me. And I put lemon on eggs the other day, like squeezed some fresh lemon. There's nothing that it can't do. There's nothing that cannot provide that beautiful contrast and bite, too. If I could have dairy, I would try squeezing lemon on various cheeses just to really shock my ass. I love it. I have this formative memory of watching Ratatouille and remembering when Ratatouille, the rat, who's a chef, takes a strawberry and a hunk of cheese and he's like, yummy on their own. What do we do? What happens mentally? What happens experientially if we mix them together? And then he takes a big bite of the strawberry and the cheese at the same time. That did something to my brain that cannot be undone, and I should be receiving financial compensation for the amount of times that I think about that and have tried that exact dish and have loved it. Yes, I love a strawberry and a cheese, and I know he didn't invent it, but the thought of that beautiful contrast of life, of food, of taking things in that are different and enjoying them. That's what this episode's about, you guys. Difference, contrast, campfires. I think that's a good natural end to it. I love you guys, and let me know your thoughts. Today was definitely a bit of a big brain day on the pod, which can be fun, you know. Let me know if anything piqued your interest, and maybe next time I'll have a bit of a silly pod, a bit of like funny, giggly vibes. We'll see.